Hare Krishna, we can resume. I put on the screen.
Recording in progress.
I put on the screen a reference from Nectar of Devotion. I couldn't find that in the last section, so I will read it now for you. Vasudeva was in the complete perfection of life, considering Lord Krishna and Balaram to be his sons, but because the sages assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra had spoken about the Lord as the supreme cause of everything. Vasudeva simply repeated it out of love for Krishna and Balaram. Lord Krishna did not wish to detract from his relationship with Vasudeva as father and son. Therefore, in the very beginning, his reply is accepted the fact that he is the eternal son of Vasudeva, and that Vasudeva is the eternal father of Krishna. After this, Lord Krishna informed his father of the spiritual identity of all living entities. He continued, "Dear father, everyone and everything, including me and my brother Balaram, as well as the inhabitants of the city of Dwarka and the whole cosmic manifestation, are exactly as you have already explained. But all of us are also qualitatively one. Lord Krishna intended for Vasudeva to see everything with the vision of a Mahabhagavat, a first-class devotee who sees that all living entities are part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and that the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. In fact, every living entity has a spiritual identity, but in contact with material existence, he becomes influenced by the material modes of nature. He becomes covered by the concept of bodily life, forgetting that the spirit soul is of the same quality as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One mistakenly considers one individual to be different from another simply because of their material bodily coverings. Because of differences between bodies, the spirit soul appears before us differently." So that was the comment of Nectar of Devotion. We continue now from text 29 until the end about...
Was that not from Krishna book?
This,
I think it was from Krishna book, chapter 85.
It was from Nectar of Devotion I wrote it wrongly in my notes. It is reading from...
I saw the heading, Maharaj. The heading was KB 85.
Okay, then it was from Krishna book. Yeah, then it's okay. From Krishna book, yes. Not of Nectar of Devotion, sorry. Thank you for correcting. It's text 29. Okay. Shidavaki said, O Ram, immeasurable Supreme Soul, O Krishna, Lord of all masters of yoga, I know that you are the ultimate rulers of all universal creators, the primeval personalities of Godhead. Thus, Devaki speaking, taking birth from me, you have now descended to this world in order to kill those kings whose good qualities have been destroyed by the present age, and who thus defy the authority of the revealed scripture and burden the earth. That text 31, burden the earth. O soul of all that be, the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe are all carried out by a fraction of an expansion of your expansion. Today I have come to take shelter of you, the Supreme Lord. So she's in the same mood as Vasudeva is here, but she has something to ask us as well. Can someone read the purport 31 on the screen.
Srila Sridhar Swami explains this verse as follows. The Lord of Vaikuntha, Narayana, is but one expansion of Sri Krishna. Mahavishnu, the first creator, is Lord Narayana's expansion. The total material energy emanates from Mahavishnu's glance. And of that total material energy, the three modes of nature are divided portions. Thus it is Sri Krishna acting through his expansions who generates, sustains and dissolves the universe.
So it is Krishna, it's not Krishna himself, but his expansions. Good. Text 22:33. Of course, his expansions are non-different. It is said that when your spiritual master ordered you to retrieve his long-dead son, you brought him back from the forefathers' abode as a token of remuneration for your Guru's mercy. Please fulfill my desire in the same way, O Supreme Masters of all Yoga Masters. Please bring back my sons who were killed by the king of Boja, so that I may see them once again. That's a request. Text 34. The sage Sukadev Goswami said, thus entreated by their mother, O Bharat, Balaram and Krishna employed their mystic yoga Maya potency and entered the region of Sutal. When the king of the Daityas, Vali Maharaj, noticed their arrival of the two lords, his heart overflowed with joy, since he knew them to be the supreme soul and worshipful deity of the entire universe, and especially of himself. He immediately stood up and then bowed down to offer respects along with this entire entourage. That is text 36. Bali took pleasure in offering them elevated seats. After they sat down, he washed the feet of the two supreme personalities. Then he took that water, which purifies the whole world, even up to Lord Brahma, and poured it upon himself and his followers. He worshipped them with all the riches at his disposal, priceless clothing, ornaments, fragrant sandalwood paste, betel nuts, lamps, sumptuous food, and so on. Thus he offered them all his family's wealth and also his own self. So we will hear now, I will read now from Gopal Champu. There the same pastime is related. Though Vamandev personally resided in Bali's house and Bali saw Balaram and Krishna, he forgot about the other lord, Vamandev, in his house, because Vamandev has become the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. Forgetting the Lord to whom he surrendered, he offered himself along with his family to Krishna and Balaram. So that shows that Krishna was the most beautiful and original. Then he forgot the Lord and he did not see him at his door. He became absorbed in Krishna and Balaram because of his impressions after seeing them. Not only by seeing Krishna and Balaram did Bali think they were rare, but also his voice became choked up, his hair stood on end and became stunned, he perspired and he fainted. So he went through all levels of ecstasy. Bali took pleasure in offering them elevated seats. After they sat down, he washed the feet of the two supreme personalities. Then he took the water, which purifies the three worlds, even up to Lord Brahma, and imparted it upon himself and his followers. He worshipped them with all the riches at his disposal, priceless clothing, ornaments, fragrant, sandalwood paste, betel nut paste, sumptuous food, and so on. He offered them all his family's wealth and also his own self. So now you know what to do when Krishna comes to your house. Bali Maharaj is teaching us here. He offered everything. So Bali Maharaj's devotional attitude, Jiva Goswami says, is a complete example of self-surrender. Lord Vishnu, in the guise of a young Brahmin student, approached him for charity. Bali offered him all he possessed, and when he had nothing more to offer, he surrendered himself as the Supreme Lord's eternal servant. There are 9 standard poses of devotional service, and the last one, Mat Arpanam, has been taught by Bali, Detaraj. It is a culmination towards which everything endeavors, towards which every endeavor is aimed. Before he tried to impress the Lord with wealth, power, intelligence, and so on, and failed to fully understand that he is the servant, and his so-called devotion was only a presumptuous show. In the 5th canto, chapter 19, Hanuman is offering prayers, and he's explaining that you cannot have friendship with the Lord on the basis of material qualities such as opulence, birth, beauty, eloquence, sharpened intelligence, superior race, or mission. Lord Ram, otherwise, how is it possible that we uncivilized animals, and we have no physical beauty, and we can't speak like gentlemen, but Ram has accepted us as his friends. Also, Queen Kunti says that you cannot chant the holy names when you are puffed up with Janma, Asvarya, Shruta, Shribir. What is the qualification for friendship with Krishna? Or what is the qualification of having a relationship with Krishna? Non-enviousness, we know, humility, pure love. Srila Prabhupada, one's devotion and one's sincere desire to serve. These are the qualifications. These are the only qualifications that... and Rupa Goswami says, Laulyam, eagerness, sincere eagerness. So Hanuman continues, whether one is a demigod or a demon, a man or a creature, other than man, such as beast or bird, everyone should worship Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no need of great austerities and penances to worship the Lord, because he accepts even a small service offered by his devotee. Thus he is satisfied, and as soon as he is satisfied, the devotee is successful. Good. Text 38. Taking hold of the Lord's lotus feet, and again, Bali, the conqueror of Indra's army, spoke from his heart, which was melting out of his intense love. O king, as tears of ecstasy filled his eyes and the hair of his limbs stood on end, he began to speak with faltering words. So this is significant, because he was born from a family of demons. Can someone read the purport, please?
Srila Prabhupada describes this scene as follows in Krishna. King Bali was feeling such transcendental pleasure that he repeatedly grasped the Lord's lotus feet and kept them on his chest. And sometimes he put them on the top of his head, and in this way he was feeling transcendental bliss. Tears of love and affection began to flow down from his eyes, and all his bodily hairs stood on end.
So, I will now read from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 37, Impetus for Krishna's Service, in that, because there this verse which we just read here is quoted. It said, in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 85th chapter, verse 38, that's a verse we just read, Sukadev Goswami tells Maharaj Pariksit, that after surrendering everything unto the lotus feet of Vamandev, Bali Maharaj immediately caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord and pressed them to his heart. Being overwhelmed with joy, he manifested all symptoms of ecstatic love with tears in his eyes and a faltering voice. In such expressions of ecstatic love, there are many other subsidiary symptoms such as jubilation, withering, silence, disappointment, moroseness, reverence, doubtfulness, remembrance, doubtfulness, confidence, eagerness, indifference, restlessness, impudence, shyness, inertness, illusion, madness, ghastliness, contemplation, dreaming, disease, and signs of death. When the devotee meets Krishna, there are symptoms of jubilation, pride, and perseverance. And when he is feeling a great separation from Krishna, the symptoms of ghastliness, disease, and signs of death become prominent. So that in verse 39 now is going to praise Lord Balaram. King Bali said obeisance to the unlimited Lord Ananda, the greatest of all being, and obeisance to Lord Krishna, the creator of the universe, who appears as the impersonal absolute and the supersoul in order to disseminate the principles of Sankhya and Yoga. So we got all three here, Bhagavan, Paramatma, Brahman, that they are all there. Can someone read the purport from here?
Till Vishwanath identifies the Supreme Ananta named here as Lord Balram, from whom expands the divine serpent Ananti says. Impersonal Brahman is the source of the texts belonging to the Sankhya philosophers, while the personal representation of the Lord known as Paramatma disseminates the textbooks of yoga.
So the impersonalists, they get all their books from Brahman, and the yogis, they get all their books from Paramatma. It's logical. It is Krishna who gives us everything. Text 14. Seeing you, Lords, is a rare achievement for most living beings, but even persons like us, situated in the mode of passion and ignorance, can easily see when you reveal yourself by your own sweet will. So he's very humbly considering himself a demon, influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance. So can someone read the small purport, please?
By ascribing to himself the degraded status of a demoniac birth, Bali Maharaj denied any spiritual qualification for being visited by Krishna and Balaram. What to speak of demons like himself? Bali thought even advanced renunciants on the path of jnana and yoga fail to please the Lord when they do not give up their pride and envy.
Yes, the jnanas and the yogis, they are proud. They are envious of Krishna because they want to be God finally. Many who had been constantly absorbed in enmity towards you ultimately became attracted to you, while the direct embodiment of transcendental goodness and whose divine form comprises the revealed scripture. These reformed enemies include Daityas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pichachas, Bhutas, Pramatas, and Nayakas, and also ourselves and many others like us. Some of us have become attracted to you because of exceptional hatred, while others have become attracted because of their mood of devotion based on lust. But the demigods and others infatuated by the material of goodness have no such attraction to you. Yes. So we must understand Bali Maharaj, he got a constant rivalry with Indra, and now it's coming out. We demons, we have some attraction for Krishna. But you demigods, you don't. That we will Can someone read the purport here?
Srila Jiva Goswami explains this passage as follows. The Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, and Charanas are adversaries of the Supreme Lord when they follow the lead of Daitya and Danava demons. The Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishachas, and so on tend to be inimical because they are generally covered by ignorance. There are some rascals in pure mode of ignorance like Shishupal and Pandrak who are totally absorbed in meditation on the Lord as their enemy, and this fixed consciousness earns them liberation. Others in the mixed condition of passion and ignorance associate with the Lord with a desire for position and prestige. Maharaj Bali sees himself as belonging to this category. Yet Lord Vishnu favored Bali by becoming his doorkeeper in the subterranean region of Sutala, just as he favored the demons by killing and liberating them, and the Gandharvas by engaging them in singing his glories. On the other hand, the Lord awards sense gratification to those demigods who are proud of their being situated in the mode of goodness. Thus they become deluded and forget.
Yes. So there is rivalry between the demons and the demigods, and it's coming out here. So this can someone also read the purport of Vishvanachaka Bhakti Thakur?
How amazing it is. Even though we have natures of Raja and Tama, we have become more fortunate than the Devatas in Sattva. This is expressed in 3 verses. The Devatas endowed with Sattva Guna, Sattva Samrabha, have not attained such closeness to you with body made of scriptures about devotion. Shastra Sharinini. With a body of Sachidananda, Vishwadha Sattva Dhamni, and as we have. In the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, the Lord is described as the form of Shatmata scriptures. But you are my greatest devotees. No, we coming from the famous dynasty of Hiranyakashipu, your eternal sworn enemies on the side of the Daityas opposing you, with sons like Bana and other such as Danavas and Rakshasas, and others having extreme envy, and others such as the Gandharvas with Sakama Bhati, Sakamaha Bhatya, have been brought to you. By mercy, you let me see you standing at the door. You give liberation to others by killing them. You hear and make the devotees hear the Gandharvas as they sing your glories. But you give the Devatas only material enjoyment, which makes them forget you. He is ascribing demoniac qualities to himself is a characteristic of most elated devotion.
Even Narada Muni says that the demons are more fortunate because they have more absorption in Krishna. Text 44. But to speak of ourselves, O Lord of all perfect yogis, even the great mystics do not know what your spiritual power or delusion is, or how he acts. Can someone read the purport, please?
Systematic understanding of something should include knowledge of both its Sarupa, or essential identity, and also its Visesas, the attributes that make it different from other things. Maya, the energy underlying all material existence, is more subtle than ordinary phenomena. Only God and His liberated devotees therefore can know its Sarupa and Visesha.
So he's saying even these great mystics do not know you. Vishvanachaka Bhakti says, well, why do I do that? No one knows the truth about you. That is expressed in this verse. The masters of yoga do not know your yoga maya. What is idam, or even how it parts idam, work? What to speak of us? So now, 45. Please be merciful to me, as I may get out of the blind well of family life, my false home, and find the true shelter of your lotus feet, which selfless sages always seek. then either alone or in the company of great saints, who are the friends of everyone, I may wander freely, finding life's necessities at the feet of the universally charitable trees. So after the prayer, there is usually a request. Someone read the purport, please.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that in response to Bali's prayers, Sri Krishna invited him to choose some benediction. And in this verse, Bali submits his request. Bali begs to be relieved of the entanglement of material life, so he will be free to leave home and wander in the wilderness, while only the Lord's lotus feet with only the Lord's lotus feet as his shelter. For his sustenance, Bali proposes he will take help from the forest trees, at whose feet, as whose feet are fruits to eat and leaves to sleep upon, for all to use as needed. And if the Lord is specially merciful to him, Bali proposes he will not have to wander alone, but will be allowed to travel in the company of Lord Krishna's devotees.
So in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada rephrases the request of Bali Maharaj. He says, please be kind to me, who am fully surrendered unto you, and favor me with your causeless mercy, so that I may simply remember your lotus feet, birth after birth. My only ambition is that I may live alone, just like the Paramahamsas, who travel alone here and there in great peace of mind, depending simply upon your lotus feet. I also desire that I have to associate with anyone. I may associate only with your pure devotees and no one else, for your pure devotees are always well-wishers of all living entities. A Paramahamsa, Srila Prabhupada says, is the supreme swan, who can draw milk from a reservoir of water. It can take the milk portion and reject the watery portion. Similarly, a person who draws out the spiritual portion from this material world and who can live alone depending only on the Supreme Spirit, not only the material world, is called a Paramahamsa. A Paramahamsa accepts only the association of pure devotees and rejects others who are too much materially addicted. In other words, those who are materially addicted cannot understand the value of the Paramahamsa, but those who are fortunate, who are advanced in a spiritual sense, take shelter of the Paramahamsa and successfully complete the mission of human life. So we have here the purport of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Can someone read this?
Please ask for a benediction. Overcoming the well of household life, which is opposite of the shelter, Bhishana, your lotus feet, sought by even the Atmaramas, Nirapeksha. May I wander alone, being peaceful in living, vritti, having obtained fruit, spontaneously dropping at the root of trees which act as a shelter for the universe. If you are more merciful, then let me wander with the friends of all beings, Sarva Sakhaihi, your devotees.
Thank you. 46. O Lord of all subordinate creatures, please tell us what to do and thus free us from all sin. One who faithfully executes your command, O Master, is no longer obliged to follow the ordinary Vedic rites. That's so. And someone read this short purport, please.
The Acharyas explained Bali's thoughts as follows. Reflecting on the possibility that his request for immediate deliverance may have been too bold, Bali Maharaj considers that first he will need to become sufficiently purified. In any case, he thinks Lord Krishna and Balarama must have come to him for some specific purpose. If he can receive the Lord's order and carry it out, that will be his best opportunity for purification. Indeed, as Bali states, a devotee acting under the personality of Godhead's instruction need no longer follow the sacrificial injunctions and prohibitions of the Vedas.
Thank you. Vishwanath Chakravarti. Now please inform me of the purpose of your appearing like this before me. Please give your order, O Lord of those who are controlled to master, but what qualification do you have to follow my instruction? Make me sinless, though I am incapable of doing so myself. By hearing that order I will become purified. Give what order which will free me from all injunctions and prohibitions of scriptures, so that I am not merely a slave to the rules. Interesting. That so Srila Prabhupada's order came with the capability to execute it. Now, Rex, text 47. The Supreme Lord said, during the age of the first Manu, the sage Marichi had 6 sons by his wife Urna. They were all exalted demigods, but once they laughed at Lord Brahma when they saw him preparing to have sex with his own daughter. So that's text 47. Yes, text 48-49. Because of that improper act, they immediately entered the demoniac form of life, and they took birth as the sons of Hiranyakashipu. The goddess Yoga Maya then took them away from Hiranyakashipu, and they were born again from Devaki's womb. After this, O king, Kamsa murdered them. Devaki still laments for them, thinking of them as her sons. These same sons of Maricha are now living with you. So we hear the whole history of the sons of Devaki. So Acharya Sridhar Swami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explained that after taking Marichi's 6 sons from Hiranyakashipu, Lord Krishna's Yoga Maya first made them pass through one more life as children of another great demon, Kala Nemi. Yeah. And then finally she transferred it to the womb of Devaki. So there is a commentary from the first chapter of the first canto, from the first chapter of the 10th canto, Appearance of Krishna. Formerly, an Ashura named Kalanemi had 6 sons, known as the Saddarbhas, who were equally powerful and expert in military affairs. In association of their grandfather, Hiranyakashipu, they underwent great austerities to satisfy Lord Brahma. Upon being satisfied, Lord Brahma agreed to give them any benediction they desired. First they were in Brahma's family, and now they are in Hiranyakashipu's family, worshipping Lord Brahma. When asked by Brahma to state what they wanted, the Saddarbhas replied, if you want to give us a benediction, give us the blessing that we will not be killed by any demigod, human being, or by great sages, not by Gandharvas, Yakshas, Charanas, and so on, who are perfect in their penances, or great sages who are perfect in their penances. Brahma understood their purpose and fulfilled their desire. But when Hiranyakashipu came to know of these events, he became very angry as his grandsons. You have given up my association and you have gone to worship Brahma, and therefore I do not have any affection anymore for you. You have tried to save yourself from the hands from the demigods, but I curse you in this way. Your father will take birth as Kamsa and kill you when you take birth as sons of Devaki. By this curse, the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu had to take birth from the womb of Devaki and be killed by Kamsa, although he was previously their father. This description is mentioned in the Hari Vamsa, the Vishnu Parva, second chapter. According to Vaishnava Toshani, the sons of Devaki, known as Kirtiman, was the third incarnation. In his first incarnation, he was known as Smaran, son of Marichi, and later he became the son of Kalanemi. So now, from Srimad Bhagavatam 10 to 8, there is also another quote that a quote from the purport from 10 to 8. Symbolically, Mother Devaki's constant fear of Kamsa was purifying her. A pure devotee should always fear material association, and in this way all the asuras of material association will be killed, as the Satkam Garbasur were killed by Kamsa. It is said that from the mind Marichi appears. In other words, Marichi is an incarnation of the mind. Marichi has 6 sons: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya: lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in pure devotional service. This is confirmed in the Vedas. Bhakti evainam darsayati. Only bhakti can bring one in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared from the womb of Devaki, and therefore Devaki symbolically represents bhakti, and Kamsa symbolically represents material fear. When a pure devotee always fears material association, his real position of bhakti is manifested, and he naturally becomes uninterested in material enjoyment. When the 6 sons of Marichi are killed by such fear, and one is freed from material contamination, within the womb of Bhakti, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears. Thus the 7th pregnancy of Devaki signifies the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After the 6 sons of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya are killed, the Shesha incarnation creates this natural Krishna consciousness, a suitable situation for the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, when one awakens his natural Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna appears. This is the explanation given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And we can now read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which is on the screen. If someone can read this, please.
By that sinful act, immediately they were put in the womb of wife of an asura. Hiranyakashipu Jataha means born of Hiranyakashipu is used in this case to indicate closeness of relationship rather than as direct sons, since they were born as the sons of the wife of Kalanemi. The purport of Jiva Goswami to 10th Canto, Chapter 2, Text 4-5 makes it clear because it refers this verse. He gives an alternate explanation as well, that being born of Hiranyakashipu means they were born as his sons in another kalpa. He also mentions Kalanemi as the sons of Hiranyakashipu, but he also mentions Kalanemi as the son of Hiranyakashipu, but in the Bhagavatam only 4 sons are mentioned and not him. The translator has put him as the son of Hiranyaksha. Vaishnava Abhidhan mentions him as son of Hiranyakashipu. I have further investigated, and other texts say Kalanemi was the son of Virochana, son of Prahlad. Virochana, who was son of Prahlad, who was the grandson of Hiranyakashipu. Who is right? They were then taken by Yogamaya to the womb of Devaki in order to kill Kansa. Devaki is lamenting for her sons. These pointing with his 4 fingers, are with you, brought by the supreme devotee Bali to see the Lord. They were there in front of the Lord.
So, now text 50. We wish to take them from this place to dispel their mother's sorrow, then release from their curse and free them from all suffering, they will return to their home in heaven. As pointed out by Srila Prabhupada in his purport to chapter 2, text 5 and 8 of this canto, Marichi's sons were condemned for their offense against Lord Brahma. And in addition, Hiranyakashipu once cursed them to be killed by their own father in a future life. This curse was fulfilled by Vasudev's letting Kamsas murder them one by one. That text 51. By my grace is 6, Smara Uthita, Parishvanga, Patanga, Kshudabrit, and Grini will return to the abode of pure saints. That is 51. So these are the names of the 6 children which first had when they were sons of Marichi. That were their names at that time. The oldest Mara was called Kirtiman when born again to Vasudev, as according Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirtiman, 10.157. Vasudev was very much disturbed by the fear of becoming a liar by breaking his promise. Thus with great pain he delivered his firstborn son, named Kirtiman, into his hands of Kamsa. He gave him already a name, although So now the purport. There's a purport, 52 now. Sukadev Goswami continued, after saying this, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, having been duly worshipped by Bali Maharaj, took the 6 sons and returned to Dwarka, where they presented them to their mother. When she saw her lost children, Goddess Devaki felt such affection for them that milk flowed from her breast. She embraced them and took them on their lap, smelling their heads again and again. Lovingly she let her sons drink from her breast, which became wet with milk, just by their touch. She was entranced by the same illusory energy of Lord Vishnu that initiates the creator of the universe. So the purport by Jiva Goswami, purport here. Can someone read the purport in the opinion of?
In the opinion of Srila Jiva Goswami, the word Srishti can here also refer to the creative process by which Lord Vishnu's Yogamaya arranges the settings and situations of his pastimes. There is indeed no question of Mother Devaki being affected by the material aspect of Maya.
So she wasn't in Maya, but their affection was for the Lila of Krishna. Text 55, 56. So, by drinking her nectarian milk, the remnants of what Krishna himself had previously drunk, the 6 sons touched the transcendental body of the Lord. Narayan and this contact awakened them to their original identities. They bowed down to Govinda, Devaki their father, and Balaram, and then everyone looked on. They left for the abode of the demigods. So, can someone read the purport?
Lord Krishna remained as an infant with Devaki and Vasudeva for only a very short time. First, the Lord appeared before them in his 4-armed Vishnu form, and after hearing their prayers, he changed himself into an apparently ordinary infant for their pleasure. But to save Krishna from suffering his brother's fate, Vasudeva at once removed him from Kamsa's prison. Just before Vasudeva took him away, Mother Devaki suckled Krishna once so that he would not feel thirsty during the long trip to Nandavraja. This we learn from the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Okay, that's an important detail. Krishna, that text 56. Yeah, 56. We just read. But we are going to read also the purport of Vishwanath Chakravarti. Can someone read, please?
They dragged the remnants of Krishna, holder of the club Gada Bhrata,
When Krishna appeared from Devaki and turned into a child as described in Bhagavatam in front of his parents' eyes, he became an ordinary child. Pitro sampashyato satyo babuva prakrata shishu. When he was about to go to Nanda's house, in order that his throat not become dry from the long journey, she fed him her breast milk. Through this, is not mentioned there. Though this is not mentioned there, it is understood from the present verse. By the touch of the body of Narayan, they realized that they were devas. Thus went to Devaloka.
So, text 57. Singer's sons returned from death and then depart again saintly. Devaki was struck with wonder, O king. She concluded that it was all simply an illusion by Krishna. So they all came and they quickly went. And then 58. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Soul, the Lord of unlimited valor, performed countless pastimes just as amazing as this one, O descendant of Bharat. So, we have heard probably only a fraction of what Krishna did. Now, the last verse. Sutta Goswami said, this pastime enacted by Lord Murari, whose famous eternal totally destroys the sins of the universe and serves as a transcendental ornament for his devotees' ears. Anyone who carefully hears or narrates this pastime, as recounted by the venerable son of Vyas, will be able to fix his mind in meditation on the Supreme Lord and attain the all-auspicious kingdom of God. So that is the benediction. We are back in Nami Saranya. Now this is the benediction. We can someone read the purport to text 59.
According to Sri Sridhar Swami,
According to Srila Sridhar Swami, hearing the wonderful events of the Lord, Krishna's life destroys sins in a manner that is perfect. Alam. Because it is easy. Anyone can easily participate in his hearing, and those who become devoted to Krishna always enjoy wearing on their ears the ornaments of topics concerning him. Not only those who were present at the time of their occurrence, but also Sukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami, all who have heard since, and everyone in the universe who will hear in the future, all are blessed by the continuous recital of Lord Krishna's transcendental glories.
Yes. This verse speaks of the nectarian nature of Krishna, Vishwanath, right? Krishna was famous nectar, Amrita Kirti. Stories of Krishna destroy sickness of repeated birth and death, Jagat Agabit, but for devotees who have transcended birth and death, it is an ornament in the ear. So we have heard at the beginning of the 10th canto, Nirvitatar Serpagyamat, Bhavas Dakshot Vamanobhyamat. Destroys the heart disease of lust by taking this medicine of Manobhyamat, hearing these pastimes from Krishna. That is the Bhava Sadak, is the medicine for transcending birth and death. By that we come at the end of this beautiful chapter 85. Lord Krishna instructs Vasudeva and retrieves the Vaki's sons. So any comments, questions? Yes, Anankar Sundarpan.
Mas, I wanted to have a little understanding about Yoga Maya. Is Yogamaya the internal potency itself, or it is one of the internal potencies? Because so many activities are given there that I become confused. So can you give some
Yoga
understanding?
Maya is the internal potency of the Lord, and it's a general term, Yoga Maya. But you have many spiritual energies of the Lord, like Ladini Shakti is a pleasure-giving potency of the Lord. Lila Shakti is the Yoga Maya that organizes the pastimes, because it covers the very elevated devotees with Yoga Maya, but that's not a covering of ignorance. They are covered, the identity of Krishna as the Supreme Lord is covered, so that they can have a relationship with Krishna as their parents or friends, because Krishna likes that, because that's a relationship with more intense love. So that's all the work of Yoga Maya, and that's the spiritual energy is our normal atmosphere. So we have heard in the third canto, the fourth canto, the oldest story. That's so many teachings. Puranjan. Puranjan is attached to the external energy. And Narada Muni is preaching to them to make him attached, to give up that attachment to the external energy and to become attached to the internal energy. It's Yoga Maya. In the material world, the same Maya is there, but it's different. It becomes Mahamaya, and it separates us from Krishna. Yoga Maya brings us closer to Krishna. So that's the difference. But it's the same energy. For Krishna, it's all is Maya, is energy. That Yoga Maya, Mahamaya. But devotees are interested only be connected with the spiritual energy, because that purifies them and brings us back to our eternal normal condition. So you have these two energies. These energies are explained in detail. If you want the details of this Yoga Maya, you find them in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are all these energies, Shri, Bo, and so many energies are described. And also we will hear that in the 12th canto. 12th canto, Krishna leaves. So he's shot by this hunter, Jara, and he leaves, but he leaves in his four-armed forms. Four-armed form, he leaves, and you see him going up into the sky, and from the sky he tells his servant Daruda, I think, that to go to Arjun and tell Arjun that he left, and ask him to bring all the queens to Delhi. But when there is described in the 12th canto, when he left, all these energies, personified energies, go with him, and they are all there. They are all also described there, these details. But for us, very simple. There is spiritual energy, material energy, and we want always to connect with the spiritual energy. That's Krishna consciousness, connecting with the spiritual energies. The details of these energies, that's good for scholars to know all the details. More important is how to connect with it. And that's what we are learning by studying the Bhagavata. Absorption in Krishna, that is the connection. Man mana bhavamat bhakto. Does that help, Anant Kaur Sunarpam?
Yes, Maharaj.
It's my limited
Go-
knowledge. Atul Krishna Prabhu, please.
Maharaj, we were hearing about Hiranyakashipu cursing the sons, 6 sons of Marichi. The question was, how is a demon like Hiranyakashipu's curse can have an effect?
Oh yeah, that I was when I was reading that I was thinking the same thing, but I remembered that the power to curse comes from austerities. And Hiranyakashipu did a lot of austerities. But of course, if he curses, he loses a lot of his results of his austerities. That's the price. But yeah, it seemingly he had the power to curse because he did all these austerities. That is interesting. The Hiranyakashipu was a demon, yes, but he had Vedic knowledge. He was instructing the son, the widows of
Wife of Hiranyaksha.
Hiranyaksha and so on. You hear that, and also Ravan, he had his Rakshasi Brahmins doing Vedic sacrifices to be successful, and also Indrajit did his sacrifice. They had all this knowledge and how to control the universe through the power of the Vedas. But the only point was they did not do it to connect with Krishna. But of course there is also, and that's going together here, the Lila Shakti. Because Krishna wanted that to happen, that curse, so that they could appear as sons of Devaki to be killed by Kamsa in the pastime, to make the pastime complete. That was part of the pastime. And that was organized by Krishna. So that's always, Krishna is the ultimate organizer in everything. That's we should never forget. Nothing happens without the will of Krishna. Does that help, Atul Krishna?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. Srinivas Gopalpu, Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, this demon's curse also became fortunate that they have become the brothers of the Krishna.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yes, they got the mercy of Krishna. So how can the curse of a demon? It must have been Krishna's arrangement. On the other side, we may also not forget that Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Sisupal, Dantavraka, they are Jai and Vijay in the spiritual world. And they wanted to serve Krishna, to give him a good fight. And Krishna reciprocated with their desire to serve him in that way. So factually, Hiranyakashipu is from the spiritual world, but he has to play this role as an enemy of Krishna. And Krishna wants to make it real. So he brings them in illusion. But it's the same energy. And it's also organized by Lila Shakti. So that Lord Nrsimhadev can appear and have a good fight and so on. It's all a drama. And Krishna is the organizer of the drama. And Gandhari, she knew it. She said to Krishna, I know, after the battle of Kurukshetra, I know who organized this battle. It's all you. And I will curse you that all the Yadus, that they will kill each other. that will be annihilated. But that finally, even that was Krishna's arrangement to his Lila Sakti. That because otherwise, how would he remove them from this world? So that all Srinivas Gopalpam is quite inconceivable for us. Krishna says, yes, the intricacies of karma are difficult to understand. Even that we cannot understand. And we don't have spiritual intelligence. What we can understand of how Krishna organizes it.
So they went back to Golok Vrindavan?
They went back. They were demigods. They were the sons of Marichi. And they went back to that position.
Okay.
That is what Krishna describes here. They went to heaven. Okay. Thank you. Anand Kaur
Maharaj, like this killing of the 6 sons of Devaki, whenever Krishna appears, does it always happen? And if that happens, is these 6 sons of Devaki the eternal associate of the Lord, or every time some demigods play that part of being 6 sons of Devaki?
Well, it's described that these pastimes of Krishna, if they are ended in this universe, they move to the next universe. And there, Arjuna in the next universe will play the same role. The same role. Make sure that Krishna, facilitate that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita. But it is said the details are different. It's never the same. It's the same story in big lines. Yada dharmasya glani bhara bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmam chishamyam but pritranarisanam vinasarisa duskitam. These are the main reasons, and that remains the same. Krishna appears for the same reasons, but the details will be different. So, who will play part in the drama in every universe is not always completely the same. And that we have learned before. We have learned before in the 8th canto that like Bali Maharaj will become a Manu in the next day of Brahma. So it means in meantime Krishna is in another universe and will play the drama there. But Bali Maharaj is here, so it will be someone else who plays these roles. But the pastimes are more or less the same, but the details are different. That's what I understood of the previous acharyas. That's also what Bhurijan Prabhu told us. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Nadia Bihari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, in the pastime of the eclipse time, when the Rajvasis meet Lord Krishna, then Krishna tells them that he will soon.
Some disturbance here. Yeah.
Mataji, please go on mute. So Krishna tells them that he would.
Just a moment. We have to unmute Rasamai Devidasi. Can you do that, Maharaj? Yeah, that's okay. Now we can hear you, Nadia Bihari.
Yes, Maharaj. I was saying during the pastime of the solar eclipse, when Lord Krishna meets with the Vrajvasis at the Kurukshetra, he promises them that he is going to see them soon in Raja, but he does not meet them, right? Significance of that, Maharaj, like why does Krishna say that which he does not fulfill?
Yeah. So that it is mentioned that he went back in some scriptures. We will discuss that in the 11th canto again, when we speak about the Vrajavasis. Krishna promised to come back, but that coming back is not mentioned in the Bhagavatam. But he did come back, according, I don't know, is it mentioned in Gopal Champu of Ananda Vrindavan Champu? But there it is mentioned. I don't remember the exact quote, but that's interesting. But in the Bible it's not mentioned. That's the, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Good.
Maharaj.
Maharaj, may I comment something?
Yes, Harila Prabhu.
So actually, when Krishna was pacifying Nanda Maharaj, so I think it is there in the Acharya's commentary that Krishna actually told Nanda Maharaj that when he will come, he said that he will come after killing Salva and killing Dantavakra. And that we saw in the previous chapters that from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary that after killing Dantavakra, he did go back to Vraja. So he did not, he kept his promise of going back. So it's not that he did not go back.
Yeah, these are the details. Thank you, Harila Prabhu. That makes it complete. Good. Thank you very much. We are coming at the end of this chapter, and there are still more exciting chapters to hear before the end of this canto. And if Krishna willing, we will be meeting somewhere for the 11th canto. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Prabhu Maharaj ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki